Welcome in to another edition of Friar Territory here on the Foul Territory Network. I'm Kyle Glaser, going solo today as we wrap up the Padres series victory over the Brewers and look at some of the unsung heroes of the Padres season. The Padres defeated the Brewers 1-0 today to take the three-game series. They are now 10-6 in their last 16 games. They are unbeaten in their last 5 series, 4-0-1 in the series in that time frame. The Padres, it's not always been smooth. The offense certainly has been struggling, but they're getting wins. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. Sometimes they're going to be pretty, sometimes they're going to be not. But if you get the job done, more often than not, you'll find yourself in playoff position. And that's exactly where the Padres find themselves going into a critical series against the Dodgers. The first time the Padres and Dodgers will face off this season. The Padres are 1 game back of the Dodgers for first place in the NL West. And there's a lot of people that have played big roles in getting them here. Manny Machado has been a standout all season long. Jackson Merrill has been a standout every time he's been on the field. Luis Arias has had some big hits. And of course, on the pitching side, Nick Pivetta has been one of the best additions of the offseason. The bullpen with Robert Suarez, Jason Adam, Adrian Morejon, Jeremiah Estrada has been nails. Again, some hiccups here and there, but for the most part, they have been dominant. That said, there are a lot of players who have really stepped up for the Padres this season. And we've seen that especially in these last 2 series against the Giants and Brewers as the Padres embark on this 17-game stretch. That is one of the most difficult stretches they will have all season. Keep in mind the Padres, as I mentioned earlier, are 10-6 in their last 16 games and have not lost any of their last 5 series. On the pitching side, that has come with Yu Darvish, of course, still out. He has not pitched all season. Joe Musgrove, of course, is out for the year after having Tommy John surgery. Michael King has missed this entire stretch since having shoulder tightness, which was later revealed to be a pinched nerve. And Dylan Cease has been struggling. His ERA is up to 4.72. So the 4 most talented starters on the Padres roster have either not been pitching or have been struggling. And despite that, the Padres have a top 10 ERA in the major leagues, both over the course of this entire season and during this most recent 16-game stretch. And there are some really key players that have stepped up in a big way to help the Padres be where they are. And I really want to highlight them because we saw a lot of them play a big role in this Brewers series, including the series finale today, And it starts with Ryan Bergert, who threw 5 1/3 scoreless innings with 1 hit allowed today to help lead the Padres to their 12th shutout of the season. That is a major league high, 12 shutouts this year. Ryan Bergert hasn't pitched a lot for the Padres, but already he has made a huge impact. He is 1-0 with a 1.26 ERA in 6 games. He came up, made 4 scoreless relief appearances, and then came up as a starter after Michael King went on the IL, delivered 5 innings with 2 runs allowed against the Giants, and then, of course, 5 1/3 scoreless innings against the Brewers today. And Ryan Bergert's a really interesting story and a testament to the Padres amateur scouting under Mark Connor, their previous scouting director. Bergert was drafted in the 6th round out of West Virginia in 2021. He was considered by the Padres to be a 2nd-round talent. They were on it. Ryan Bergert pitched mostly out of the bullpen as a freshman and made only 4 starts his sophomore year before the pandemic shut down the season. Then his junior year, he missed the entire season after having Tommy John surgery. So Ryan Bergert made 4 starts his entire college career. But the Padres saw enough to put 2nd-round grades on him. They got him in the 6th round because he had pitched so infrequently as a starter, because he was coming off Tommy John surgery. Padres showed faith. They gave him a $500,000 signing bonus, an above slot bonus. They really did consider him a 2nd, 3rd-round talent. They got him in the 6th, and they were patient with him. As we see with so many pitchers coming back from Tommy John surgery, it took a little bit. Bergert showed really good stuff, but his delivery and his arm action were a little bit off his first year back from TJ, thus his control wasn't where it needed to be. Then his next 2 seasons, it looked like things were getting better. Last year, the stuff actually backed up a little bit. He didn't have the best year at AA. But he has continued to put in the work. He's continued to get better. The Padres have continued to develop him. And now they're reaping the rewards of having that faith in Ryan Bergert when he was at West Virginia, when he was coming off Tommy John surgery, as he was going through his struggles in the minors with his recovery. And now he's come up and really looked the part of someone who could be a back-end starter in the major leagues. We've seen that with his 2 starts so far. We talked about in spring training too. You saw the 3 pitches. You saw the fastball. You saw the slider, which is his best pitch. You saw a good changeup. He's someone who has the arsenal and the control to potentially start games in the major leagues. There's not many pitchers in the 6th round who you find you can say that about. The Padres did, and now, again, Ryan Bergert has already been one of the unsung heroes of the season. We saw that again today in Milwaukee. These 2 starts have come at a critical time for the Padres, as we mentioned, with King out, Darvish out, Musgrove out for the year, and Cease struggling. He has come up and really helped stabilize the back of the Padres rotation. Again, once everyone comes back and gets healthy, Darvish and King especially, we'll see what the rotation looks like. But Ryan Bergert has shown he deserves a spot in the Padres pitching staff, whether that's as a bullpen piece, whether it's as a long man, a spot starter, or even in the back of the rotation. The stuff is there, the control is there, the moxie is there, the poise is there. He has stepped up in a big, big, big way. The other starting pitcher currently in the Padres rotation, that's one of the unsung heroes of the season we really need to highlight, is Stephen Kolek. Stephen Kolek threw 5 2/3 scoreless innings against the Brewers on Saturday. The Padres, of course, lost that game on Caleb Durbin's walk-off home run. But he also threw 5 2/3 scoreless the previous start against the Giants. So it's back-to-back starts of 5 2/3 scoreless innings. He had a complete game shutout against the Rockies already earlier this year. Stephen Kolek overall is 3-1 with a 3.00 ERA in 7 starts this year. And again, this was an under-the-radar guy. Stephen Kolek wasn't even the most famous pitcher in his family. That was Tyler Kolek, his older brother, who was the 2nd overall pick in the 2015 draft, who threw 100 miles an hour in high school. Like a lot of pitchers who throw 100 in high school, Tyler Kolek struggled with his control, didn't have a lot of secondaries, got hurt, never made it. Stephen Kolek really flew under the radar from the outset, went to Texas A&M, and kind of struggled. He had a 4.5 ERA his junior year. He was an 11th round draft pick by the Dodgers. He was a 3rd-day draft pick, got a $125,000 signing bonus, which is standard for after the 10th round. Again, not an overslot guy, not a guy who dominated in college, 3rd-day draft pick with a 4.5 ERA in college. And even in pro ball, it wasn't clear right away that he would end up being a guy. His first year as a college draftee in low Class A Great Lakes, he had a 5.00 ERA. After the pandemic, the Dodgers sold him to the Mariners. First year with the Mariners, ERA over 6. Of course, the Mariners eventually Rule 5'd him. So keep in mind, the Dodgers and Mariners, 2 organizations that are great at developing pitchers, felt like they didn't see enough in Stephen Kolek to keep him. The Dodgers selling him to the Mariners leaving him unprotected in the Rule 5 draft. The Padres took him. Stephen Kolek has been such an enormous addition to the Padres this year. We talk about Ryan Bergert and Stephen Kolek. Both these guys started the year in AAA. They have come up and stabilized the back of this Padres rotation. And Stephen Kolek's journey in some ways is even more remarkable than Ryan Bergert, because Bergert at least had that 2nd round talent. It was just a matter of injuries. No one saw this coming from Stephen Kolek. Not out of the draft when he was an 11th round pick. Not when he was at Texas A&M when he had an ERA over 4.5. Not in pro ball with the Dodgers when he had an ERA over 5. Not in the Mariners organization when he had an ERA over 6. And then the next year at Arkansas AA, he became a starter. Arkansas is one of the most pitcher-friendly parks in the minors, and he had an ERA of over 4.5 there. The Padres picked him up in the Rule 5 draft, and look, he took his licks last year, as a lot of Rule 5 picks do, out of the bullpen. Padres sent him back down to AAA to get him stretched out. He's come up and been huge for the Padres this year. Really, really, really one of the unsung heroes. Keep in mind, Stephen Kolek has not been a regular starter since 2022 at AA Arkansas. It's been 3 years since he was starting games regularly. For him to come up and do what he's done, giving the Padres a 3.0 ERA in 7 starts, providing length, pitching into the 6th, going the distance with a complete game, he has been nothing short of phenomenal. The Padres would not be where they are without Stephen Kolek this year. They also would not be where they are without Ryan Bergert, but it's especially true with Stephen Kolek. And I think it's really, really important that everyone appreciates just how remarkable his rise has been. From under the radar in his own family, under the radar in college, under the radar in the minors, 2 organizations who are really, really, really good at scouting and developing pitchers, deciding not to keep them, and now look at him. It's a huge testament to Stephen Kolek. It's a huge testament to the work he's put in, his stuff, his control. He's gotten all of it so much better. The Padres are reaping the rewards of it, and he really is one of the big heroes of the season. Those have been the 2 guys in the rotation that right now are filling it out. Again, you have Cease, you have Pivetta, Randy Vasquez, who has a 3.69 ERA and has done an admirable job in some respects, but he's also struggled with walks and struggled to get the Padres length. Kolek and Bergert are the guys who have stepped up with Darvish and King on the IL and really helped stabilize everything. And then the bullpen. We talk so much about Robert Suarez and Jason Adam and Adrian Morejon and Jeremiah Estrada, and for good reason. That core four is fabulous and gives the Padres one of the best bullpens in baseball. But we all know you can't just ride the same four guys over the course of a 162-game season. You're going to wear them out. They're going to break down. You have to have other guys in your bullpen that you trust you can hand the ball off to and will keep the lead, or at least will keep the game in reach if you are trailing. And we've seen the Padres have to mix and match a little bit, trying to find that guy. Shawn Reynolds is someone who has stepped up in a big way for the Padres recently, and in a lot of ways has been the unsung hero of their bullpen since coming up. He has thrown 7 straight scoreless relief appearances. He did have that spot start against the Braves after Michael King went on. Well, Michael King reported his shoulder soreness. Of course, that eventually became a pinch nerve. He went on the IL. So Reynolds started that game in an emergency. But in terms of what he's done in the bullpen, Shawn Reynolds has been lights out recently. He was part of the shutout today. And again, another guy who's just such a unique story. Shawn Reynolds was drafted as a third baseman by the Marlins in the 4th round in 2016. He spent 4 seasons as a position player, never hit over 200, really struggled to make contact, came back post-pandemic, converted to pitching. And look, we see so many guys in the major leagues right now who are position players and converted to the mound that I think some people think it's easy or take it for granted. It is an exceptionally difficult transition. For every guy you see in the majors who did it successfully, there's 10 other guys in the minors who couldn't make it. It takes so much talent, so much dedication, so much fortitude, so much work ethic to, in the middle of your career, completely change who you are, going from position player to a pitcher, and learning it's not just about having a good arm. It's controlling your secondary stuff. It's knowing how to read swings. It's command. It's sequencing. To pitch at the major league level requires so many nuances and intricacies. There's a reason very few people in this world can do it successfully. And for Shawn Reynolds to make the transition, come up and do what he has done for the Padres out of the bullpen this year, it's been really impressive. And he deserves a lot of credit as well. We've seen him give the Padres length. His 3-inning relief stint against the Giants during that series was huge. He's come in and blown hitters away in short stints as well. He's become a really key part of the Padres bullpen and has shown once again that he belongs in this Padres bullpen for the long haul. There's 2 other players who have been on the Padres roster, but they've stepped up in a different way this year. Again, Bergert, Kolek, Reynolds, these were not guys who are on the Padres opening day roster. They've all come up. They've all made an impact coming up from AAA, or in Reynolds' case, the IL. But I think it's important to highlight the contributions as well of Yuki Matsui and Wandy Peralta. I want to start with Yuki Matsui. Matsui has not allowed a run in 21 of 27 appearances this year. Once again, he was part of the shutout today. I want to give Yuki Matsui a lot of credit. I wrote him up out of Japan, covered him a lot over there. He was one of the best closers in Japan, but one of the conversations that I had with scouts over in the Pacific Rim for a long time was he has really good stuff, but it's max effort. The fastball sails on him. The control's not great. And it's going to lead to some reliability issues in the major leagues. Major league hitters are going to lay off of some of his stuff. A lot of the swings and misses. He was getting outside the zone in Japan. Major league hitters weren't going to swing at that. And we saw that last year where the Padres signed him. The idea was he would end up being a mid to high leverage guy. But by the end of the year, he'd been relegated to mop-up duty because he wasn't reliable enough, because the control was not consistent enough. You have to remember, last year when the Padres were fighting for the playoff spot, fighting for their lives down the stretch, Yuki Matsui only appeared in 5 out of the Padres' final 25 games. He was not someone they relied on or counted on when the game was on the line. In the postseason, the Padres played 7 postseason games. Yuki Matsui appeared in 1 of them. And the one he appeared in was in the 9th inning of the Padres' 8-0 loss to the Dodgers in Game 4 of the NLDS. It was a mop-up outing. That's where Yuki Matsui was at the end of last year, relegated to mop-up duty. The Padres did not trust him when they needed wins. And for him to come out this year and do what he has done with an ERA in the low 3s, he's come out and helped the Padres really get some big outs, especially from the left side on days Morejon is not available. It's been really impressive to see, and he's pitched himself back into that mid-leverage relief. Again, he's not been perfect. He's had a few bad days. Everyone does. But overall, when you hold your opponent scoreless in 21 of 27 appearances, have a low 3s ERA, getting some swings and misses in some key spots, that's a very nice contribution, and one that should not be discounted. And lastly, we have to look at Wandy Peralta. Peralta, of course, is not a favorite of many, many, many people watching the Padres. And he has certainly had some bad blowups, including a stretch 3 games in a row where he gave up 6 runs, 2 runs, and 2 runs. And then, of course, most recently against the Marlins, he blew a lead. But Wandy Peralta has held opponents scoreless in 22 of 28 appearances this year. And since that bad stretch where his ERA ballooned over 6, we had the 6-run outing followed by a pair of 2-run outings, he's let only 1 run since then. Overall this year, on the whole, Wandy Peralta has gotten the job done. Again, only allowed a run, has held opponents scoreless in 22 of 28 appearances. Some of them have come in low leverage relief, but again, today, the Padres nursing a 1-0 lead, trying to stay in it, and Wandy Peralta got the job done. I think it's something that's really, really important that gets undervalued a lot, but we've seen it be so important for this Padres team as their offense has struggled. It's just holding the line if it's 0-0 or you're down 1-0 or 2-0, not letting that game balloon and become 5-0, 6-0. That makes a world of difference. That's what sets the Padres up for their comeback victories, which we've seen they have a lot of this year. Again, Manny Machado played offensive hero today with a home run in the 7th inning. Once again, Manny Machado has been absolutely huge for the Padres recently. 7 homers in his last 16 games, 5 of them in the 7th inning or later. We saw a winning home run against the Braves. We saw the winning home run today against the Brewers. We saw a game-tying home run to force extra innings against the Marlins. We saw a home run to give some critical insurance against the Marlins as well. Against the Braves. But he would not have been in position to hit those big home runs if the Padres pitching staff had not held the line, if they had not kept the Padres in the game. And that's what they're doing consistently. And what's been just so impressive about this recent stretch of them doing it is, again, they're doing it without Yu Darvish, without Joe Musgrove, without Michael King. Dylan Cease has been struggling. And despite all that, as we sit here today, the Padres are top 10 in the majors in ERA, in WHIP, in opponent's average, and strikeouts per 9. Their big dogs are certainly a big part of that, with Nick Pivetta and Robert Suarez and Adrian Morejon and Jason Adam and Jeremiah Estrada. But you don't win games or have performances like that with 5 or 6 guys on your staff. You need all 13 to a man stepping up and doing their jobs. And right now, the Padres are getting contributions from so many guys who were not considered focal points of this team coming into the year. And a lot of credit needs to be given to Ryan Bergert and Stephen Kolek and Shawn Reynolds. And yes, Yuki Matsui and Wandy Peralta. Again, every team has surprises. Every team has guys that step up. We've seen the Padres certainly get some contributions on the offensive side. Gavin Sheets, of course. But it's really been this pitching staff. That is why the Padres are where they are today. That is why, despite all the injuries, despite the offensive scuffles, this team is 1 game out of first place here as we head into mid-June, going into a critical series against the Dodgers. Without this pitching staff, the Padres would not be where they are. They would not be close to where they are. And these unsung heroes are a big part of the reason why. Now, we'll see if they can keep it up. And during this critical stretch, the Padres have 7 games coming up against the Dodgers, including this 3-game set. They also have a series against the Arizona Diamondbacks, who we all know can mash. They have pitching problems, but they can bang. The Dodgers and Diamondbacks are 2 of the best offenses in baseball. We'll see if this pitching staff is able to keep it up. And if they are, the Padres will continue to be in every game. And based on everything we've seen so far this year, there's good reason to believe the Padres pitching staff will be up to the task, with these unsung heroes playing a big part of it. This has been another episode of Friar Territory here on the Foul Territory Network. Go ahead and give us a review, 5 stars, like, and please subscribe. It helps us out. We love interacting with you, hearing from you. Leave comments, we'll respond. It's certainly been a great season so far, and there's a lot more good stuff to come. We will have comprehensive coverage of the Padres' upcoming series with the Dodgers, including a preview with Alana Rizzo and Clint Pasillas of Dodger Territory, recaps of all the Dodgers games. We'll have Mike Cameron, we'll have Heath Bell. A lot of great stuff upcoming. Now is a great time to subscribe. Once again, I'm Kyle Glaser. Thank you for watching and listening. We'll see you for the Dodger series.